Holy shit, what is up, my YouTube family? It's been a minute. Where do I even begin? We'll start with the recent developments. So, had a mold problem, and shit made me pretty damn sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. My boy's sick. Wife was tested. She has a little bit of mold in her system too, just not as much as me and the kid. Father-in-law lives with us. He had mold in his system. And mother-in-law who lives with us. She's not been tested yet. I'm going to start off on a good note. So we went down to a specialist here in Richardson, Texas. I think it's called Johnson Medical Center. I'm going to give them a shout out because them guys were absolutely phenomenal. Dr. Johnson, he heard that we were testing Grayson because that's all we could afford. It was like almost $600 just for one test. So we took Grayson in. We went as a family because Dad, he has Medicare or Medicaid, I'm not sure, but one of the two that would help pay for most of his visit there. He only had to come out of pocket a little bit. So them two were getting tested. Dr. Johnson heard about our situation, and he immediately had all of us get tested. And he deferred the payment and said that he would work with us, which is amazing because we're talking thousands of dollars, you know. Yeah, good man. So now that we have the test, we have the results, we can move forward with contacting the lawyer that we had previously talked to, who has a really good record. He's done mold cases. So we have a good shot at hopefully getting all of our medical bills paid for, and getting some of our, I guess our rent and stuff taken care of too, and then possibly getting moved out of here so that we can get moved somewhere else. We've been asking for almost 2 years now, so technically next week will be 2 years since we initially moved in here, and we found it, and we reported it, so yeah. Mold ain't no joke, guys. If you got mold in your homes or mold in your apartments, like, you need to be careful. Some of the symptoms for me have been, severe body aches. Feels like I have the fucking flu all the time. Makes me really twitchy. A lot of muscle spasms, which I've already got issues with neuropathy in my neck and my shoulder and my lower back. That's why I've not really been on here. I've been in a lot of pain. Definitely been trying to follow along and keep up with everything going on with, our stock, AMC and GameStop, and a couple of the others. Had to get out of one of my positions, which was in Highcroft Mining. I hate that I had to get out of that. I'm probably going to regret it, but we needed the money. So still holding my GameStop, still holding my AMC, and my Ape. Haven't sold a single share. We have been able to scrape and get 5-10 shares at a time here and there, just like everybody else in this movement. I still believe in the original, buy, hold, repeat until we beat these guys. At some point they have to give up, and it ain't about giving up. They're gonna have to be forced to give up. I'm really torn on this AMC whole debacle with Adam Aaron. I really want to support, him. And in the beginning I did. I was right there supporting him, but this whole selling to Antara, at 66 cents, roughly 66 cents, and then what they did today, allowing them to break the contract that they had written for 90 days that they weren't supposed to sell, and then they did, and they're using the guise of we raised capital to pay off debt. I mean, sure, paying off debt's a good thing. I believe that AMC does need to pay off debt to help the fundamentals, right? But nothing changed from the beginning. This was never a fundamental play. This has always been about squeezing these fuckers out because they've been doing shit they ain't supposed to. This selling what you don't own, and then having failures to locate, and using market exempt orders to be able to move these markets and stabilize them. At what point does it matter, or does it become an issue to the government? You know, if one of us made a threat against the government, you know, the FBI would be at our door the next day, right? But these assholes can sit in their towers behind these computers, and they can just push buttons all day long and keep pushing these prices down, you know, and they don't care about the lesser man. See, that's what they're terrified of. And that's what I wish people would realize. You know, it's not about hopium, it's not about hope. You know, there's no hope without work. You have to work so that you can have that hope. You know, you have to be willing to put something in and sacrifice in order to get that hope and to attain it. You know, and in my mind, I see a very, very big upset group of people coming along very soon. It's, you know, just like Mike the Marine talks about, you know, it's enough's enough. And people are getting tired of it. You know, Gary Gensler hasn't done a damn thing since he took office. You know, Jerome Powell just sitting up there lying at the meetings. I mean, you know, when that guy asked him, you know, if they ever talk to anybody on the government side and if they ever make deals, pretty much is what he said. You know, you saw how uncomfortable Jerome Powell got. I mean, the laugh, the giggling, and then the hand grinding, and like he got very nervous. You know, I'm not a professional guy that can look at somebody and say if they're lying, but you know, I played enough poker at the tables that I could usually point it out and see somebody when they're lying, and if they really don't have a hand. A lot of times there's tells. Now, I'm not saying that that's the truth. It's just my opinion, right? But with what's going on, guys, it's going to come to a point where, you know, we are going to have to get out en masse, just like Mike and them guys did on Occupy SEC 2023. I really wanted to go. I really did. I'm just right down the road from the Fort Worth office. It's like I am beat to shit right now. It has taken every ounce of what I got just to function here at home. They have me on medicine too right now for my shoulder and my neck. It's called gabapentin. I've heard some pretty negative things about it, but I don't have any other options. You know, Texas, it's not legal down here to smoke marijuana. Just not. You know, I wish I could because I'm from Oregon, and up there it really helped. The other option is painkillers, and I refuse to take opioids of any kind. I had an issue in high school where I took too many a lot, and I had a problem with it for a while that I hid very well, but that's a whole nother story. Trying to get a motivational video out there, but I'll be honest with you guys, it's tough right now. It's hard to stay motivated with what's on our plate, but the positives to it is, you know, it's funny how things work out. Sometimes it's not the way you want it, but sometimes it's the way you need, you know, and I'm a walking story for that. You know, there's been a lot of times that I've wanted a lot of things that, you know, I thought I wanted and needed, and then I realized that, you know, it wasn't, and then I was given what I needed, you know. So all I can say is hang in there, keep pushing, keep holding. With this reverse split, I don't know, man. To me, it's just all messed up. It's all jumbled up, and it's made to be that way. You know, I don't know if Adam Aaron's turned against us and he's working with the hedge funds, but from my point of view, trying to be an independent, free mind and free thinker, you know, given the information that I'm given, which is the same as you guys, it's something just don't seem right. You know, it seems like institutions are coming out of the woodwork saying they own so many shares, and it's like if we are to believe that our movement is 4 million strong, which it could be 10 times that now with how much we've all talked, you know, I just don't see how they're able to get a yes vote, especially with enough of us that have been in the underground and we're quiet. We don't get on here, we don't talk a lot, but we sit and watch. You know, call us the watchers, if you will, the watchers of the underground apes, you know, the Ape Underground. That's us, you know. And if we're really truly honest with each other and about what we're seeing, like, something just don't feel right. You know, I'm not saying that we aren't going to see a run, but I have been thinking for a couple weeks now that, you know, this bull rally that we've been in is too good to be true. As far as I'm concerned, they're going to knock this down as far as they fucking can. and in hopes that they can get as many people to give up as possible. It's the same thing they've done every few months. Every few months it seems like we have a nice little run up, and then they just beat the fuck out of it. And it's like, at some point, enough's enough. I mean, fuck, look at King Griffin, man. that dude looks like he's aged 20 fucking years. And I don't pity him. I don't feel sorry for him. He's made his decisions. He knew what he was doing. And if he didn't, then he's just a psychopath. And I think there's a lot of them up there that truly are psychopaths. I know what that is. I can relate to what psychopaths are from the way I grew up as a child. It's hard to have emotion when you were never given emotion. I don't know if people understand that, but for the ones that do, yeah, good for you. You'll understand. It can be used in a good way. It doesn't have to always be a burden. But I don't know. I do foresee a good time coming. It's just, guys, there's going to be a lot of pain before the good comes. But the only thing I can say is, be ready to support each other. Be ready to stand in each other's corners. We all don't have to agree on everything. But we do agree on one thing, that this corruption does need to end. It needs to be taken out. And it goes deep. I mean, you guys see what's going on, with the Nordic pipeline. They're saying that possibly the U.S. did it. Please understand, it's not the U.S. We as people make up the U.S., but we're not the ones that make those decisions. There's a very small group that make those decisions, and it's not for us to know. That's why we never know anything. I'm not saying they did or didn't, but I'm saying the evidence is looking pretty clear that sabotage was done on our part, and what's going on in Ukraine with this whole proxy war, NATO joining in, it's like they want World War III. They couldn't control us with the pandemic. They couldn't get us to concede and to kneel to that one power, if you will. So if they can't, what's the next best thing they can throw at us? World War III, if you will. It's like, I don't agree with it. I served for 5 years, and I was proud of what I did, but once I got to understand what we were doing and what we were actually testing that aircraft to be able to do and what it was going to do, realizing that 500,000 or so kids died in Afghanistan, and it's like me working on that, I was supporting that. It doesn't make me feel good, and maybe I think too deep, but I don't think there's a need for war. We have more than enough resources to go around. We have more than enough people willing to work, to be able to create a nice living situation for everybody. We could have homeless cured. I say cured, but taken care of. We could have mental places to help people that are on the streets. There'd never be a kid go hungry again if we'd all just sit together and think. But it's like, I feel like we watch these fuckers at the top, and we keep thinking they're going to do something for us, but it's like they never do. So that's a big reason why I'm in this movement. Like, I know I'm jumping around, but I didn't get in this movement so that I could get rich. I mean, I did, but it wasn't for myself, because it's like I realize what terrifies them is us becoming very wealthy and then using that wealth to basically do what they can't do and what they won't do and what they choose not to do. They want us to stay in this vicious cycle, and I say no. I say it's time for us to take care of it ourselves, and when we win, because we will, we're going to win. I don't know when, but we are going to win. And when we do, it's like, guys, we need to unite together the whole time, even after the win. Get things put together, take care of people ourselves. Stop relying on the government and all these organizations to do it for us. They just don't do enough. I wish I could. I wish I could do more. I don't want this for myself. I want it for my boy. I want it for his future. That way I can pass down a legacy of putting more into this life than what you get out of it. Or what you take, I mean. Because we could have a peaceful world. A world where there's no point in war. All we do is work for knowledge, education, learning, and truths. Not this bullshit pseudoscience. I'm talking truths. Where we work and we are free and open information. Everybody's allowed to know what we're doing. And it's like people say like, oh, it's not privacy. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying where it's like we work on things in order to conquer them. Okay, we have an energy crisis. What can we do to conquer it? Right? Guys like Elon are trying, but they have that evil up there at the top that pushes them back, it pushes them down. We've had companies that are coming out with cancer cures, getting shorted to the dirt. It's like all that knowledge is there. It's just isolated and locked away. And that's not fair to the rest of us. And that's my whole point, being an ape. I want us to win so that we can all unite and we can start learning and pushing for knowledge, pushing for truth. Not just for ourselves, but for our next generation. That way they don't make the same mistakes we did and our fathers did and their fathers did. It's like we have a chance here, and it's like this is like the turning of an age. And what we do in the next few years is really going to dictate what the future holds for the next 50 or 100 years. I think my last video I talked about how powerful we all are individually. And how, we can project things and really, in a sense, push what we want within a certain degree. We can't control everything, but we can push it, and we can project a future that's good for everybody. But at the end of the day, when you can't get enough on board with that, and too many people are selfish and greedy, and they're happy with what little they have, when they could have it all for everybody. I think there's going to come a time when you are going to have to be willing to give up and sacrifice everything that you have and everything that you are in order to get this change that we want. I think our founding fathers understood that. They were willing to completely stand against the grain, to fight against what had always been the British rule, the British monarchy. And they chose to be different. They chose to be independent, sovereign. Only God owns me. Whatever you view God as. Or if you don't view God, it's just whatever that power be. Whether you call it nature and nothing happens after you die, it's completely up to you to whatever you believe in. I always tell people that. But to be independent and sovereign is the most important thing we can have. And as far as I'm concerned, that's been taken from us. And it's time we take it back. And this movement, in my opinion, it started 3 years ago. This is it. This is the movement. There will be catastrophes. There will be war. There will be violence on a major degree in order to keep us from winning, in my opinion. We ain't seen nothing yet. They will do everything in their power to keep us from winning. And I think people got into this movement, didn't realize what they were getting into. And the more we spread this knowledge and the more we spread this truth, people begin to realize that this movement's more about Lamborghinis and Tendies. Don't get me wrong, like I want a few things, but I'm not a selfish, greedy man. What I want is for my family to have a piece of land, and it ain't got to be big. A nice tiny little home, because I don't want to have to clean it all the time. Maybe a few animals, a little place I could do my gardening and my own greenhouse, if you will, so I can grow my own stuff, make my own medicines. That's what I dream about. Going back to the ways that my ancestors did in these open plains out here. And yes, I am part Native American. I also have Irish in me. So the Irish and the Native Americans. We got to do something different, guys, and this is the way we do it. It's just, instead of this war being fought with our hands and being fought with guns, this war's fought with money. This war's fought with time. And that's really what it boils down to. So, I'm truly happy to be here. I'm sorry that I haven't been on here much lately. I'll try to post some videos here soon. I'll try to be a little more uppy. But tonight, I'm in a lot of pain. I have pain throughout my body right now. It's very uncomfortable, and I don't want to complain, and I ain't looking for sympathy. I've been through these kind of things before. It is what it is. But I think good things are coming for all of us, and I'm going to keep believing that, because that's what I want, and that's what I truly want to see happen. And I think if we all manifest it, eventually it will come to fruition. But we have to be willing to sacrifice everything and give everything to it. Otherwise it won't happen. So all I can say, apes, is I'm with you till the end. I'm not going nowhere, and I ain't selling my shares. they are going to have to pay and pay dearly for them. And if Adam Aaron is a snake and does, hurt us, I don't know. I guess we'll have to battle that when it happens. Let's let this next couple weeks play out and see what happens and see how it turns out for us. And if it turns out bad, y'all know what I'm up for. I'm up for getting out there and getting loud, and letting them know that we are not here to be picked on. We're tired of it. We want our movie theaters, of course, but we don't want the corruption to be involved with them, right? All I can say is I wouldn't want to be Gary Gensler, and I wouldn't want to be Ken Griffin and any of these nasty little followers. So I'll leave it at that. Y'all use your imagination. I love you guys, and I hope you all have a great day, okay?